mental health plays a big role in dancing, dancing powwow, particularly because when you dance, you're representing yourself, you're representing your tribe, you're representing your community. So when you enter the dance circle, because that's what we call it, because we always dance in a circle, you have to represent yourself in a good way. And you can't represent yourself in a good way if you're not in a good space mentally. And I've danced all my life apart from in my teen years. And in my teen years, I wasn't in a good place. I struggled with substance abuse, and I had a cousin who was murdered at that time. And so, I didn't cope in a good way when I was in those years. And it wasn't until I became a parent and I had my daughter dancing, because for me as well, I danced when I was young. So I wanted to have my daughter dancing as well. And I realized I couldn't be a role model and I couldn't represent living in a good way for her if I wasn't living in a good way myself. So in order to get back into dancing on the powwow trail, I worked on my mental health. I worked on my sobriety. I worked on my physical aspect, getting myself back in shape, eating right, taking care of myself, working on my social circles and ensuring I'm around people that, are good for me and that I'm good for as well. And, making sure that we deal with the problems that we have in our lives in a healthy way. So, when I think of mental health and dancing, it all goes hand in hand. So I came up for the Hopscotch Festival, and it was when it was over here in Dartmouth. And I had some friends who were performing at the time. They're Indigenous as well. And I remember, they were on the stage or whatever, and being in the audience by myself and like seeing them on the stage and being like, wow, this is such an incredible experience. This is people that I know on the stage, people that I know in the audience, because, you have friends in Halifax, especially, it's small, but it's big at the same time. And then years later, this was actually in November, I personally performed with Hallucination at Hopscotch Festival, and that was just over here in Halifax this time around. And I came up with friends as well, and that's what was really, it felt very full circle for me, because I was sitting on stage with some of the boys that are performers as well, and they're Indigenous. And then I had my friends in the audience, and I could see them at the front because they made sure to get all close to be able to see me and just having that moment of, being able to experience, like the entertainment scene from both sides and really just enjoying both of it. I love the Halifax scene. It's special because of that. With powwow dancing, we always have an off season. In the wintertime, there's not powwows, there's not gatherings, but those are the times that we have to work on our craft. Everything that I'm wearing right now, I've made most of this. I've sewed most of this, I've beaded most of this, not all of it, so I can't take credit for all of it. But we take our summer or our winter months to create our regalias. So when I think of the past 2 years, it wasn't always easy. I won't pretend that it was, but I also used those 2 years to really, really not just work on my craft personally, but to teach my family, how to bead and how to sew, because a lot of them didn't have that knowledge beforehand. And when you teach someone how to bead and sew, it's not like crocheting or painting where it's just the art medium itself. There's teachings and there's meanings behind it that go into it. So for the past 2 years, I've been developing a lot closer bonds with my family where I'm able to pass on teachings that I hadn't before. And, they've wanted to dance but weren't sure how to, approach me or how to approach others and gain those teachings. So, we've taken this time to really connect with each other more. For the people that I'm close with, I feel a lot closer to mentally and also, spiritually, and also, with our culture. It's really, it's been a blessing in disguise really these past 2 years, because I feel like I have a closer bond with my immediate family and with my circle. A lot of the older generations that I've grown up around, when you talk with your elders and you talk with people who have worked really hard for their sobriety and worked really hard to be at the place that they're at in their journey, most of them are very open with their mental health, because most of them have taken the hard path to sobriety where, they had to deal with losses and deal with addictions and deal with jail and things in that sense. So it's really, it's a beautiful thing, because it's not just older generations that I could feel connected to on that level too, but now it's the younger generations too, where you don't only speak on the traumas you endured, because a lot of times with the older generations, it's, I witnessed this, I saw this, I endured this. But with the younger generations, we don't have to endure so many hard things, to reach those lessons. You don't have to have a sibling or a relative murdered in order to realize that, this isn't the path for you.